Every civilization has its ghost. Rome has its ruins. Babylon has its hanging gardens. Egypt has its pyramids. But Atlantis has no location, no ruins, no artifacts, no proof. And yet it remains one of humanity's most unforgettable stories. For over 2,000 years, explorers, mystics, scientists, and dreamers have searched the oceans for a city that may never have existed. Why? Because Atlantis was never just about geography, it was about us. It is one of those myths that refuses to disappear because it describes something eternal inside the human mind. Perhaps the greatest civilizations are not buried beneath the sea. Perhaps they are buried inside every person. Plato's warning. The story first appears in the dialogues of Plato, particularly Timaeus and Critias. He describes a magnificent island beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Its cities shimmered with gold. Its canals were perfectly engineered. Its people possessed extraordinary wealth, military power, and technological sophistication. Everything about Atlantis represented perfection, at least at first. According to Plato, the Atlanteans slowly became corrupted by prosperity. Their virtues faded. Greed replaced wisdom. Power replaced justice. Luxury replaced discipline. The civilization did not collapse because it became weak. It collapsed because it became too successful. Then came the catastrophe, earthquakes, floods. The island vanished beneath the sea in a single day and night. Most people read this as ancient history. Plato probably intended something deeper. Civilizations rarely die from external enemies. More often, they rot from within. The psychology of Atlantis. Carl Jung believed myths survive because they describe recurring patterns of the human psyche. Atlantis is one such pattern. Think about your own life. How often have you built something remarkable, only to slowly destroy it? A healthy body ruined by comfort, a friendship ruined by pride, a relationship ruined by neglect, a career ruined by arrogance. We imagine collapse as dramatic, but collapse usually begins quietly. One small compromise, then another, then another. The symbolic flood arrives only after the foundations have already dissolved. Atlantis is not merely a city beneath the ocean. It is every moment when success convinces us that we no longer need humility. The higher we climb, the more dangerous our blindness becomes. Why the ocean matters. Notice where Atlantis disappears, not into fire, not into the sky, into the sea. Across mythology, the ocean symbolizes the unconscious. It represents everything hidden beneath awareness. Dreams, instincts, forgotten memories, repressed truths. To sink beneath the sea is to disappear beneath consciousness itself. The civilization isn't destroyed, it becomes inaccessible. This is why people endlessly search for Atlantis. They are unconsciously searching for the lost parts of themselves, the forgotten ambitions, the innocent curiosity of childhood, the ideals abandoned for convenience, the courage buried beneath years of disappointment. Atlantis waits beneath the surface because our deepest truths rarely vanish. They simply sink beyond ordinary awareness. Atlantis and Urashima Tarō. A remarkably similar lesson appears in Japanese folklore through the story of Urashima Tarō. Urashima is a humble fisherman who rescues a turtle. As a reward, he is invited beneath the sea to the magnificent dragon palace. There, everything is beautiful. Time seems to stand still. Joy feels eternal. After what feels like only a few days, Urashima longs to return home. When he reaches the surface, he discovers centuries have passed. Everyone he knew is gone. His family has vanished. His village has changed beyond recognition. The paradise beneath the sea came with a hidden cost. Before leaving, he had been given a mysterious box and warned never to open it. Overcome by grief, he opens it anyway. A cloud escapes. Instantly, all the years that had been waiting for him return. He becomes an old man in moments. Like Atlantis, Urashima Tarō is not merely a fantasy. It asks a haunting question. What happens when we become so enchanted by an ideal world that we lose our place in the real one? Both myths place extraordinary civilizations beneath the ocean. Both warn that beauty can become illusion. Both suggest that what lies beneath the waves demands a price. The sea offers wonder, but also forgetfulness. The Atlantis inside modern society. Perhaps Atlantis has already returned, not as an island, but as civilization itself. Never before has humanity possessed such extraordinary technology. Unlimited information, artificial intelligence, global communication, medical miracles, comfort beyond the imagination of our ancestors. Yet anxiety rises, loneliness spreads, attention fragments, meaning becomes harder to find. We have become astonishingly capable, but capability is not the same as wisdom. The Atlanteans were not destroyed because they lacked intelligence. They were destroyed because intelligence outpaced character. Every civilization reaches a moment where it must answer one question: can our moral growth keep pace with our technological growth? History suggests the answer is far from guaranteed. The hidden treasure. Curiously, countless legends insist Atlantis still exists somewhere beneath the sea. Why do we imagine that? Because psychologically, we believe nothing truly valuable is ever completely lost. It only becomes hidden. Jung often spoke of individuation, the lifelong process of recovering forgotten parts of oneself. In that sense, every meaningful life resembles an expedition to Atlantis. You descend into uncomfortable memories, face buried fears, recover abandoned dreams, confront forgotten mistakes, and occasionally, you discover treasures you thought had disappeared forever. The city beneath the sea is not waiting to be excavated by divers. It waits to be rediscovered through self-knowledge. Becoming the guardian. Perhaps the greatest misunderstanding about Atlantis is believing it was destroyed in a single night. No civilization collapses that quickly. Collapse begins long before anyone notices. The final catastrophe merely reveals damage that has been accumulating for years. The same is true of individuals. Integrity is rarely lost in one decision. It fades through countless tiny compromises. Character erodes quietly, so does purpose, so does gratitude, which means preservation also happens quietly. One honest conversation, one disciplined morning, one courageous decision, one act of humility. Every day we either strengthen the foundations or weaken them. Atlantis is therefore not a prophecy, it is a mirror. It asks each generation and each individual the same timeless question. What are you building? And are you becoming the kind of person capable of preserving it? Because every human being carries an invisible city, built from values, memories, dreams, relationships, and choices. If we neglect it, the waters of pride, distraction, and complacency slowly begin to rise. But if we care for it with wisdom, humility, and courage, perhaps our inner Atlantis never has to sink at all. The real mystery was never where Atlantis disappeared. The real mystery is whether we recognize it before it disappears within us.